The Bible contains prosperity codes that almost no one really knows how to read. One of the most overlooked is in Psalm 23. Many repeat it, but they don't grasp the pattern of abundance that could radically change their lives, especially financially. And it's no coincidence. In fact, it connects directly with the work of Napoleon Hill, a young journalist who was given a very clear mission by a billionaire, Andrew Carnegie, to study the most successful people in the world and find out what made them rich. Hill analyzed giants like Rockefeller, Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, or Henry Ford, the best of the best in terms of wealth. And after years of research, he came to conclusions that, interestingly, were already encoded in something as ancient as Psalm 23. So this video didn't show up for you by accident. Coincidences don't exist. What exists is causality. What you're seeing comes through synchronicity, through cause and effect, and above all, with intention. Because it's probably the answer you've been looking for. How can you generate more abundance in your life? In this video, you will discover how the teachings of Napoleon Hill in Psalm 23 fit almost surgically with the principles of the Old Testament, specifically in Psalm 23. Stay until the end, listen carefully, because what you're going to understand here may be one of the most powerful ideas to enter your mind in a long time. Now let's dive right into Napoleon Hill in Psalm 23, and in that hidden code that very few know how to use to create abundance. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that your life, especially your finances, is suffocating you? Like you're doing everything right, but you don't move forward. You make an effort, you work, you try, and still nothing changes. It's like there's an invisible wall blocking abundance. It doesn't matter how much you want it. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. It just doesn't come. Does that sound familiar? Because I was there fighting that feeling for years until I discovered certain principles that changed everything, literally. It was like the wind suddenly stopped blowing against me and started pushing me forward. Years ago, I was in a pretty rough situation. I couldn't make ends meet. The money disappeared faster than it came in. When it came in, of course, no income, no plan, no brands. It was chaos. So yes, I completely understand that pressure in your chest when you don't know how you're going to pay for the next thing. That mix of anxiety, frustration, and the feeling that I have to do something, but I don't know what. And that's when I did something that I still do to this day. Look for answers in ancient texts. Because let's be honest, what you're going through now, someone has already gone through before thousands of times, and someone has already found the way out. That's why I became obsessed with ancient books, especially sacred texts, and among them the Bible. One day I was reading the Psalms, many attributed to King David, and there's something you need to understand. David wasn't anyone's favorite. He was the youngest of his brothers, the forgotten one. Not even his own family counted on him. In fact, when the prophet Samuel went to anoint the future king of Israel, David's father presented all his sons except him. He had him tending sheep as if he didn't matter. Samuel looks at everyone and says, "It's none of these." They ask the father, "Are you sure there's no one else?" And he answers something like, "Well, there's one more, but I don't think it's him." Just imagine how bad it was. They bring him in, and as soon as he arrives, they anoint him as king. That same David who later defeats Goliath. He leads battles that seem impossible and becomes one of the greatest kings in history. The difference? He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the most prepared, but he had something the others didn't. Unbreakable faith, absolute certainty, and from there, he built everything. Now, when you read Psalm 23, it may seem like a beautiful text, even comforting, but if you stop there, you're missing what's important. Because there are principles in it that Napoleon Hill rediscovered centuries later, after studying the 500 richest people of his time It's not poetry, it's strategy. Look at this. When David says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," he's not praying just in case. He's declaring a state of mind. This connects directly with what Hill called a positive mental attitude, a state in which, even though everything around you is falling apart, you know you're going to be okay. You don't expect it, you know it. It's that inner conviction that your needs will be met no matter what happens. It's not naivety, it's mental programming, meaning that even if I can't see it now, all of this is guiding me to where I need to be. And this isn't just pretty philosophy, it's more than proven. When you operate from a positive mindset, you start attracting opportunities, solutions, even people who didn't show up before. Now pay attention to the next part. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. This is no longer just about faith, it's about environment. Here comes another key principle that Hill identified, the mastermind principle, the power of surrounding yourself. Surround yourself with energy, people, and environments that uplift you, not drain you. Because you can't build abundance from constant chaos. You need spaces of clarity, focus, and strategic calm. And that's not by chance, it's by design. When you enter a state of real calm, not just stopping because you can't go on, but conscious stillness, something interesting happens. Your mind stops making noise and starts to listen. That's when you connect with something deeper. Call it superconsciousness, intuition, or whatever you want. And from there, ideas start to appear that never even showed up before. Suddenly you understand things, you see solutions. Answers come to you without forcing them, as if you were downloading them. Sometimes in the middle of the day, other times while you sleep, but they come. That's why the Psalm says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters." It's not just a pretty image, it's an instruction. Guidance appears when you lower the noise, when you are at rest, because it's in that state where you receive direction, where something from within or from above begins to set your path in order. Now, look at the contrast. A person with debts, with financial pressure, with their mind racing, doesn't rest. They're constantly on alert. From there, clarity is impossible. They don't lack motivation, just mental space. And without that space, solutions don't appear. Then comes another key. He will restore my soul and guide me in paths of righteousness. When your inner self is at peace, you start to move with precision. Not from desperation, but from a kind of invisible order that aligns you with what actually works. It's not the human idea that effort should bring immediate results. It's another logic, a deeper one, where the person who has real faith and a clear purpose ends up getting there, no matter what. And here comes one of the most powerful points of the whole psalm: faith in action. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Translate it to real life. You're in the red. You can't make it to the end of the month. Everything is tight. That's a valley, and a pretty dark one. But here's the difference. Faith in action doesn't deny reality, and it gets through it without falling apart. It's keeping on going when everything seems against you. It's holding on to certainty when there's no evidence. It's trusting when there are no guarantees. It's not cheap optimism, it's trained conviction. Because faith, properly understood, is this: firmly believing in what you still can't see, and acting as if it were already inevitable. And when you maintain that state, even if everything inside you is trembling, you start to change your energy. And that changes what you attract. If you panic, you vibrate in a state of scarcity, and scarcity responds, always. But if, even in the midst of chaos, you choose to hold a vision of victory, you start to operate on a different frequency. And from there, what comes is different. It's not magic, it's internal coherence. Faith and love operate at a much higher vibration than fear, and what's higher ends up prevailing. That's why it said, we walk by faith, not by sight. You don't decide based on what you see today. You decide based on what you know is coming. And then another key phrase appears, your rod and your staff give me courage. Courage is life, it's drive, it's energy and motion. It's that inner push that appears when you're aligned. That feeling of I'm on the right track, even if I don't fully understand it. And right after that, something amazing happens. You prepare a table before me in the presence of those who trouble me. Simple translation. Abundance doesn't come when everything is perfect. It comes even when everything around seems to be against you. Even when others doubt, criticize, or expect you to fail. And that changes. It completely changes the rules of the game. That is, even when you are surrounded by problems, people who don't add to your life, or situations that put pressure on you, today, right there, your table is being prepared. Right there, things are arranged so that you can move forward, grow, and even prosper. He doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. He does it in the midst of chaos. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup is overflowing. Translated. It's about clarity, focus, and an unbreakable attitude. That's proper visualization, not fantasy. Direction. While everything around you seems against you, you keep laying the groundwork. You keep acting as if what you're looking for is already on its way. And that's the key that almost no one truly applies. Think about this. I read a story about a family that lost their dog. They looked for him everywhere. Nothing. Days, weeks, zero results. Until they gave up. And then someone told them something that changed everything. You're not doing it right. You can't give up. Oh, you have to prepare for his return. The woman understood the message. She took out the dog's bed again, set up his food bowl, his water, as if he were coming back that very day, and she also started putting up posters all over the city, started acting like someone who expects to get back what is hers. And something curious happened. A man who was visiting saw one of those posters. It turns out he had found the dog days earlier in another city. No one claimed it, so he decided to keep it. But on that trip, he saw the notice, called, explained the situation, and the dog went back home. Coincidence? No. They prepared the ground. They stopped acting. They stopped acting from loss, and they started acting from certainty. That's what it means. You prepare a table before me. You prepare the space so that what you want can arrive. And when it says you anoint my head with oil, it's talking about the same thing. Mental clarity, understanding how things really work, ceasing to react and starting to create. My cup is overflowing is not just material abundance. It's about filling yourself with the idea that you already have it, that it's already yours, that it's part of your reality, even if you don't see it yet. That's true creative visualization. It's not just imagining for its own sake. It's about feeling it, holding it, living it in your mind until your behavior changes, until you start acting in alignment with that. Like that woman, every time she saw the dog's bed and put out food, she wasn't doing it out of wishful thinking. She did it because, in her mind, the dog was already there. And when you operate like that, something powerful happens. You stop asking from a place of lack and start receiving from a place of certainty. Or in everything you ask for, believing that you already have it, you will receive it. It doesn't say when you see it. It says when you believe it. And this is where most people fail. Because faith is not tested when everything is going well. Anyone can believe then. Real faith appears when there are no signs, when there are no guarantees, when the logical thing would be to give up. And even so, you decide to hold on to the vision. That's where the game starts to change. Think about a story you probably already know, but that takes on a different meaning when you look at it from here. Jim Carrey, before he was famous, was completely broke. No money, no clear opportunities, basically living day to day. But instead of giving up, he did something that seems simple and that almost no one has the discipline to keep up. He wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. He signed it, dated it, and kept it in his wallet. And he didn't do it as a game. For years, he visualized that outcome. He saw himself acting, succeeding, earning that money. He felt it was real, even though his reality at that moment was completely the opposite. While others saw failure, he kept laying the groundwork. He kept acting, kept pushing, kept making moves, but inside he had already decided that it was his. And here's the powerful part. Years later, he got a role in Dumb and Dumber and earned exactly $10 million. The same amount. Luck? Thinking of it that way sounds nice, but that doesn't explain the process. What he did was exactly this. You prepare a table before me. He set the stage before it even existed. His mind was filled. You anoint my head with oil, with an idea so clear, so constant, that it ended up shaping his reality. My cup is overflowing. It's not just about having a lot. It's about being so full inside with that vision that there's no room left for doubt. That's real visualization. It's not about closing your eyes for 5 minutes and expecting miracles. It's holding on to an inner certainty, even when everything outside tells you the opposite. It's living, thinking, and acting from the end result before you see it. Because when you operate like that, you stop reacting to the present and start creating the future. And that's where real faith comes in. Not the kind that appears when things are good, that one has no value. The faith that transforms is the one that holds on when there's no evidence, when there are no signs, when the easy thing would be to let go, but you choose to hold it. That's where everything changes. And the psalm ends with a statement that leaves no room for doubt. Goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. It's not a weak hope, it's not a maybe. It's a certainty every day. But that promise isn't automatic, it's consistent. Directly from everything before, from how you think, from how you feel, from how you hold yourself when everything shakes. Because when you maintain that internal state, something changes outside. You stop chasing opportunities, and they start finding you. Then comes the phrase that elevates everything. And in the house of Jehovah I will dwell for many days. This is where most people pass by and miss the most important part. Jehovah, at its deepest root, means I am. It's not talking about a place you go to afterwards, nor is it talking about the place you're living from right now. But if you've made it this far, it's not a coincidence. It's because there's a part of you that's waking up and it's no longer satisfied with living on autopilot. Write to me in the comments. I'm not going back anymore because this is the point where many people give up. But you don't. You keep going. And that already says a lot. Who are you becoming? The house of I am is your identity. It's the point from which you decide who you are, even before you have proof. Because let's be honest, if you don't define that, someone else will do it for you. And it's usually not to lift you up. They tell you at home, at school, on the street, this isn't for you. You don't have what it takes. Be realistic. Lower your expectations. And if you're not awake, you buy it. You buy it. You repeat it. You make it your truth. And that's where the problem starts, because you start living from an I am that you didn't even choose. I am the one who can't. I am the one who always just barely makes it. I am the one who tries but doesn't make it. And of course your life reflects that. That's why this closing isn't just for show. It's a direct call. The I am is an internal command. It's pure programming. It's the moment when you decide, I am abundant, I am capable, I am the one who finds the way. Even if right now there's no external evidence, and this is where people part ways, because saying it when everything is going well is easy. Anyone feels confident when everything fits together. But holding on to it when there are no results, when there's pressure, when reality contradicts you, that's no longer comfortable. That's real inner work. And yet that's where everything is built, because what you repeat with conviction ends up filtering into how you think, how you act and the decisions you make without even realizing it. And those decisions end up creating your life. So it's not just a nice closing phrase, it's a silent warning. Because every day you're saying, I am something with your words, but above all, with your thoughts. The question isn't whether you're doing it. The question is, which version of yourself are you reinforcing every day without realizing it? Because absolutely everything depends on that.